Sunday does not ruin your weekend. Monday does. Before it even arrives. Nothing has happened yet. The laptop is closed. The emails are still unread. The meetings have not started. No one has asked you for anything. The sun may still be outside. The room may still be quiet. But somewhere in your body, the work week has already begun. That is the strange cruelty of the Sunday Scaries. They steal time from a day that was supposed to belong to you. You are not at work, but you are no longer fully away from it. You are sitting on the couch, scrolling without absorbing anything. You are watching a show, but checking the clock every few minutes. You are eating dinner, but already thinking about tomorrow morning. You are trying to rest, but your mind keeps walking into the office before your body is moved. And the most confusing part is this. You do not hate your job. If you hated it, the feeling would make sense. If your boss was cruel, if the workplace was obviously toxic, if every day felt like punishment, you could point to the dread and say, that is why. But maybe your job is fine. Maybe the pay is okay. Maybe your coworkers are decent. Maybe your manager is not a monster. Maybe you even like parts of what you do. Maybe if someone asked you directly, you would say, it is not that bad. And still, every Sunday evening, something in you begins to tighten. Not dramatically, not loudly, just enough to ruin the rest of the day. This is what makes Sunday anxiety so easy to dismiss. Nothing terrible is happening in the moment. You are safe. You are home. You are technically free. But your body is not responding to the moment. It is responding to the pattern. It remembers what Monday means. It remembers the inbox opening like a door you cannot close. It remembers the calendar filling up before you have had time to think. It remembers the quick request that becomes a 2-hour task. It remembers the meeting where you have to sound calm, even when you are already tired. It remembers the version of you that has to return. Because Monday is not just a day. Monday is a role. The professional one. The available one. The responsive one. The agreeable one. The calm one. The one who says, no worries, even when there are worries. The one who says, happy to help, even when helping costs more than anyone sees. The one who performs competence so smoothly that people forget competence is still labor. This is why the Sunday Scaries can appear even when your job is not terrible. You may not be afraid of the work itself. You may be afraid of becoming the work version of yourself again. During the weekend, even if only for a little while, you belong more to yourself. You move slower. You eat when you want. You let your face rest. You ignore messages for a few hours. You do things that do not need to become productive. You remember there is a person underneath the job title. Then Sunday evening arrives, and the role starts calling you back, not with a sound, with a feeling, a heaviness, a tightening, a quiet sense that your time is no longer yours. The old workday used to have clearer edges. You went to work. You came home. The building stayed behind. Now, the office lives in your pocket. A message can arrive during dinner. A calendar invite can appear while you are in bed. A project can follow you into the weekend even if you never open it, because the thought of it is already open in your mind. Modern work does not always need your body. Sometimes it rents space in your attention, and attention is where your life happens. If work keeps occupying your attention even when you are not working, then part of your life is being spent in advance. That is why Sunday can feel stolen. Not because Monday has started, but because your mind has already begun paying Monday's emotional bill. Many people try to solve this by preparing harder. They clean the apartment. They make lists. They check the calendar. They prepare food. They tell themselves that if everything is organized, the dread will disappear. And sometimes it helps, a little. But preparation cannot always fix a feeling that does not come from disorder. Because often, the real fear is not that Monday will be chaotic. The real fear is that Monday will take you away from yourself again. By Wednesday, you know you will be tired. By Thursday, you may already be counting the hours. By Friday, you may be too drained to enjoy the freedom you spent the week waiting for. Then Saturday becomes recovery, and Sunday becomes the warning that recovery was not enough. This is the loop. Work drains you. The weekend restores just enough energy to function again. Then the week begins before the self has fully returned. And after a while, your body learns the schedule. It learns that Sunday evening means the gate is closing. It learns that rest is ending. It learns that the version of you who can breathe is about to be replaced by the version of you who must perform. So the body sends a signal, a tight chest, a restless mind, heavy eyes, a strange sadness, a need to distract yourself, a sudden urge to be productive, a sudden inability to enjoy anything. This is not always irrational. Sometimes it is memory. Not one dramatic memory, not one terrible event, but the accumulated memory of hundreds of small moments where you had to leave yourself behind. The meeting where you swallowed your frustration. The email you answered after hours because you did not want to seem difficult. The deadline you accepted even though the timeline was unreasonable. The joke you laughed at even though you were exhausted. The vacation day you felt guilty taking. The sick day you almost apologized for needing. Sunday Scaries can be the echo of all those tiny betrayals. Not because someone forced you every time, but because the workplace taught you subtle rules. Be visible, be responsive, be flexible, be positive, be a team player. Do not create friction. Do not look like you cannot handle pressure. Do not fall behind. And this is where the fear becomes deeper. For many people, Sunday anxiety is not only about workload, it is about identity. If work has become the main place where you prove you are valuable, then Monday is not just a day, it is a test. A test of whether you are still competent, still useful, still respected, still in control, still ahead, still safe. This is especially true for high performers. High performers often do not panic because they are failing. They panic because they are afraid of what would happen if they stopped overfunctioning. They are not afraid they cannot do the job. They are afraid of what it costs to keep being the person who can. That is a different kind of fear. Quieter, harder to explain, because from the outside, it looks like success. You are trusted. You get things done. People rely on you. You are included in important conversations. You have built a reputation for being capable. But being relied on can become a cage when no one sees the person inside the reliability. That is why the sentence, "I do not hate my job," does not erase the dread. You can like parts of your work and still feel trapped by the way your life is shaped around it. You can respect your coworkers and still feel drained by constant interaction. You can be grateful for your paycheck and still feel sad that your best energy goes into a system that rarely asks who you are becoming. You can be good at your job and still feel like it is slowly making you less alive. That is the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes, Sunday is not warning you that your job is bad. Sometimes, Sunday is showing you the gap between functioning and living. This is where the feeling becomes difficult to ignore, because Sunday does not only bring fear, it can also bring grief. The grief of the weekend you did not really have, the book you did not read, the walk you did not take, the friend you did not call, the creative thing you keep postponing, the quiet moment you avoided because it might reveal how far away you feel from yourself. Sunday gives you just enough space to feel the life you are not living. Then Monday comes to cover it again. Many people respond by distracting harder, more scrolling, more shows, more snacks, more online shopping, more planning, more trying to reset perfectly. There is nothing wrong with comfort, but sometimes comfort becomes a way of not hearing the message. Because the Sunday Scaries are not always asking, "How can I make Monday easier?" Sometimes they are asking, "What kind of life makes me dread returning to it before it even begins?" That question is uncomfortable because it does not always lead to a simple answer. It does not mean you have to quit your job. It does not mean your career is wrong. It does not mean your life is a failure. But it may mean something in your relationship with work has become dishonest, a boundary you keep avoiding, a conversation you keep postponing, a level of availability that is quietly consuming you, a version of yourself you perform because being real feels risky, a habit of saying yes because saying no feels unsafe. This is where toxic productivity becomes invisible. No one has to pressure you anymore. You pressure yourself automatically. Even when no one is demanding anything, the inner manager keeps working. You should prepare. You should catch up. You should improve. You should answer that message. You should get ahead. You should not waste this time. And suddenly, the boss you are trying to escape is inside your own head. A quiet Sunday can start to feel dangerous because rest feels undeserved. A blank calendar can feel like guilt. A slow evening can feel like proof that you are falling behind. If your worth has been tied to output for long enough, doing nothing will not feel peaceful at first. It will feel like threat. This is one reason Sunday anxiety can appear even when nothing is wrong. Your body may not know how to rest without preparing to be useful again. Sleep becomes recovery for work. Exercise becomes energy for work. Food becomes fuel for work. Even relaxation becomes a strategy to survive work. And when every part of life is organized around being ready for Monday, something human begins to disappear. The self is not only tired, it has not been asked what it wants in a very long time. That is why Sunday can feel empty as well as anxious. It is not only fear of what is coming, it is the sadness of realizing how much of your life has become maintenance for your performance. The deeper truth is this: Sunday scaries are often not a fear of Monday. They are a fear of disappearing again, disappearing into the inbox, disappearing into the calendar, disappearing into other people's priorities, disappearing into performance, disappearing into a week where you are useful to everyone except yourself. Once you understand that, the question changes. It is no longer only, how do I stop feeling anxious on Sunday? It becomes, what part of me is trying to return before Monday takes over again? Maybe it is the part of you that wants slower mornings. Maybe it is the part of you that wants to stop apologizing for boundaries. Maybe it is the part of you that wants work without constant self-abandonment. Maybe it is the part of you that wants your evenings back. Maybe it is the part of you that wants to be known as more than reliable. The way forward is not to shame the dread. The dread may be carrying information. It may be pointing toward the place where your life has become too small, too measured, too available, too organized around being needed. So instead of treating Sunday anxiety as an enemy, you can begin to treat it as a signal, not a diagnosis, not a disaster, a signal. A signal asking for a different relationship with work, not necessarily less ambition, not necessarily less responsibility, but less self-erasure. This might mean closing the laptop and letting Monday begin on Monday. It might mean writing down the one thing you are afraid of, instead of letting it spread across the whole evening. It might mean refusing to turn Sunday into a productivity ritual designed to make you the perfect employee. It might mean creating one small boundary that teaches your body the weekend is real. It might mean asking a harder question. Am I tired because the week is busy, or because I keep abandoning myself inside it? There may not be an answer right away, but even asking the question can change something. Because the scariest Sunday is the one where you do not know why you are afraid. Once the feeling has a shape, it becomes less like a fog and more like a message. And the message may be simpler than you think. Not, I hate my job. Not, I cannot handle my life. Not, everything is wrong. But something quieter. I do not want to lose myself this week. That is what the Sunday Scaries may have been saying all along. They arrive when the weekend begins to end because some part of you knows how easily the week can take you away from yourself. They are not always proof that your job is bad. They may be proof that your inner life needs more protection, because a good job can still consume too much of you. A stable life can still leave you tense. A successful person can still feel dread when the role they play becomes heavier than the life they are living. So if Sunday night feels heavy, even though you do not hate your job, maybe you do not need to dismiss the feeling. Maybe you need to ask what it remembers, what it is protecting, what it is trying to prevent. Maybe the dread is not only about Monday morning, maybe it is about the quiet fear that another week will pass, and you will be productive, helpful, responsible, impressive, and praised. But somehow still absent from your own life. Healing may not begin by making Sunday perfectly calm. Maybe it begins by making the rest of your life honest enough that Sunday no longer has to scream in whispers. Because Monday will come. The emails will come. The meetings will come. The world will ask for you again. But before it does, there is one question worth hearing in the quiet of Sunday night. When the week begins, will you go back to work, or will you disappear into it?